So I'm a little chapped, pissed might be the right word, frustrated, accustomed to it, which makes it even worse. I was, as most of you know, I looked through the comments. I don't always have time to note them individually, but I try to pick out some that are high points or that collectively respond to what people have cared about, what they're interested in, how they are looking at what we have, or interesting comments. Sometimes I pin things which are totally the opposite of the way I feel or the way I think some of the people that watch the channel feel, to give them a sense of a juxtaposition. So this morning I was going through the Senate report from yesterday. That would be the October 30th. And there are, of course, comments that YouTube chucks aside and makes me look at in order for them to get posted. So, but I look at those. I don't always look at them, and I don't always approve them. And part of the time I don't approve them, and I'll tell you right up front, if people just simply post another YouTube video and just say, watch this, or put the video down, I typically either pitch them or I leave them in the review stage so they never are seen. Why do I do that? Because it's a waste of time, folks. It's a waste of time. This is off topic from what I'm going to talk about today, but it's a waste of time because then everybody has to look at it to see what it is. If you have something that you want people to see, then say, I am interested in this, maybe you would be interested in this, here is the topic, here's why it's interesting, here's the link. Now then you give me and everybody else that looks the opportunity to make a discerning judgment about whether I want to look at it or not, whether I want to waste my time on it or not. Quite frankly, and you need to pay attention to this, if I looked at every single video that was posted in my comments, it would take me an hour. And just getting through it, into it, back out of it, back into the comments, and then down to that place again. So I don't do that. So if you have something you want us to look at, me and everybody else that looks at the comments, then you put something with it, or I'm going to pitch it. All right, that's number one. Segue, pet peeve. But here's the big one. So I looked at these comments that have been tossed aside and set into my must approve status. And there's a guy named William Hicks, Wicks, something like that. Posts a really nice comment. Basically, the content of it is as follows. Look, I'm voting red. I'm voting Republican. I'm giving it the best shot I can. I've been following the Q stuff since the beginning. I've followed it assiduously. I have been hopeful about it, but nothing has happened. I've looked at what should happen and what shouldn't and why it didn't happen before the midterm elections. And here is a posting, here is a video, here's a link, as I recall, to a complete compilation of what's been going on and what hasn't. I'm hopeful, I'm giving it the best I can, but frankly I don't think that that we are going to see what we think we want to see. And in fact, it looks like perhaps as likely as not, Trump is part of what it is that we think we need to clean out. So without necessarily agreeing with everything the person said, or certainly not disagreeing with it, I thought, well, all right, I'll approve this. I'll go back into my comments. I'll find it. I'll find the link. I'll note the stuff. I'll probably copy the comment, and it disappeared. And I made a mistake. I should have copied it first, set it aside, followed the link second, set it aside, and then posted the comment onto to the viewing section where the rest of you can see it, because they shadow banned it. They hid it. And it is nowhere to be found. So the the first call out is, William, whatever you are, whoever you are, post it again. Post the same information again. I want to see it. And it doesn't mean that I agree with every part of it, but I certainly don't disagree with every part of it. And it may be, as many of you know, I've been as skeptical about this whole process as anybody. So to go to that point, since I have shared the essence of what this person said, let me go to that point. Here's the deal, as far as I'm concerned. I am giving this every possible opportunistic, positive, engaged, proactive approach that I can to this election. I am giving Trump, who is neither a Republican nor Democrat, exactly what he's asking for. That is, the supporters that will most likely give him some space to perform. I think that's fair. I am certainly doing everything I can to keep the deep state Democrats, who are now calling themselves progressives but who are not, who used to call themselves liberals and were honorable liberals with whom I sometimes agreed and sometimes did not, but at least I knew where they stood and how they stood for it and the honorableness by which they came about it. None of that is true anymore. I mean, it is all deep state stuff. Obviously, nothing that they're doing right now makes any sense at all. I mean, open borders, sanctuary cities, benefits and aid to non-citizens, leaving the poor and the middle class completely out of it, not protecting anybody's wages, not protecting the limitation of employment, not protecting the safety of us, not trying to curtail criminal elements coming in, drug trafficking, sexual trafficking, the possibility of ISIS and Al-Qaeda and Boko Haram and everybody else coming into this country illegally and then creating havoc, MS-13 and the rest of them. It's craziness. And nobody, if you sat down with anybody who was rational and said, well, do you know that bringing any number of illegal immigrants into this country, and don't call them undocumented, I didn't forget my driver's license, therefore I'm unlicensed or I'm temporarily misplaced my license. No, I would be illegal if I didn't have one, and I would have misplaced it if I did. Undocumented assumes that I have some reason to be here, but somehow I've lost my paperwork. No, that's total horse crap, right? So where you take a situation where people that come into this country, there are old and secure and well-documented economic studies that show that allowing an unlimited number of illegal aliens into this country will pull wages down. It will pull wages down $2 to $5 at a time. Obviously, we know what is happening. Many of us know what is happening. And why the Republicans do nothing about immigration is that the big fat cat corporations hire illegally for meatpacking and construction and road work and lots of other things, hotel, motel, they do under the table stuff. There's cash and carry. And what it has done is taken American citizens out of the market, made it impossible for them to survive because the illegals are willing to work under the table without any taxes, without Social Security taken out, without withholding, without any kind of health care or anything else, no benefits, no vacation, no leave, no nothing, for $3, $5, $7 an hour. And as a result, the person that would have worked legitimately for $10 or $12 an hour and had some kind of minimum opportunity to make a living is precluded from having a job at all. And so what those economic studies show is that the average person that is in an hourly working situation loses at least $2 an hour because illegals are available to fill jobs. It pulls not just the $7 an hour farm workers down, it pulls everybody down $2 because the guys that were working for 14 now have to work for 12. The guys that were working for 12 now have to work for 10. And so it has skewed the whole market. And crazy, unconstitutional, ridiculous, unformed, idiotic California has as much as 30 or 40%, I've even read 50% of its economic market going under the table. So what does that mean? It means that there are millions of illegals in California. It means that none of them that are working in this undermarket, that are working in the cash and carry market, are paying any of their way. They're not paying for roads, they're not paying for schools, they're not paying for any city, state, or national governmental programs. They are drawing welfare, unemployment, health care. They're drawing from anchor babies that are coming in that President Trump has just responded to. They are getting all kinds of benefits, WIC, food stamps, low-income housing. I've had Californians tell me that they don't want to discriminate against the illegals, so they're providing technical training, education, vocational aid, postgraduate education. They're providing this to illegals, and you and I in the other 49 states are paying for it. It's idiotic. But to get back to the main point, the deal is this, as I see it, that we are being shadow banned, we are being disturbed, we are being played with, and YouTube is doing it, Instagram is doing it, Twitter is doing it, Facebook is doing it, and it's getting worse. And so I have a call out to this guy, hey, post it again. Let's look at the rest of this stuff. Let's look at how we're being mistreated. Let's give everything that we can to this election. Everything we can to this election. Let's allow no excuses for anybody to say, well, I would have done something positive about this country, but for the fact that you guys didn't support it. There can be no excuse. We must make it so that if there's any opportunity for the Republicans to actually step forward, they must do so now. And getting rid of Paul Ryan and 30 other Republicans in the House and Flaky Flake and a bunch of other guys in the Senate gives us an opportunity to perhaps have 53, 54, 57 Republicans in the Senate and hold on to the House. And if that's the case, then they have no excuse. We will hold their feet to the fire. And if they don't pass that, the latest proposal from Trump of taking away the automatic citizenship of babies that are sneaked across into Brownsville Hospital, and 90-odd% of them are illegals birthing children to create anchor babies. If they don't take that away, it is high time for pitchforks, folk. High time. So anyway, that's my deal. And again, my call out, post it again. I'll see that it gets properly posted and go from there. But I'm chapped. I'm chapped. And we got to fix this. My God almighty, what a mess. What a mess this country is. Thank you so much for watching.